Thank you so much for joining me for this talk on PSCopilot.help. My name is Chrissy LeMaire, and I am a Manning author. You can get 45% off the entire site until July 3rd with LeMaire 3 PSEU. I am writing a book on AI. And any time that I talk about AI, I always mention privacy.openai.com. If you're someone who is privacy-minded, go here, opt out of everything. But ultimately, if you value privacy and security and confidentiality, I do recommend to just use Azure OpenAI services. So today we're going to talk about PSHelp.Copilot, which allows you to speak to your PowerShell modules using natural language. So if you have a very well-documented PowerShell language, then you can just talk to it instead of doing get help, etc. And this is done using the API Assistance. And this is pretty much what it looks like. We can use this with PowerShell, with TypeScript, put a front end on it, etc. And the consumer version of this is called a custom GPT. So we used to say, if you do it twice, you should code it up in PowerShell. And now when I do it twice, I usually create a custom GPT for it. And this is the one for dbatools.help. I've uploaded all of the 800 commands. And I can ask, how do I encrypt all of my databases? And it'll just tell me in natural language. So I want to say, if you create an assistant or you create a custom GPT, it's so important. Use examples. It really loves examples and follows instructions exceptionally well. So ultimately, what I figured out after months of failure is that what works the best is retrieval documents, a great prompt that forces retrieval, and again, ideal examples. On a good day with a good session. Like Ben, my demo completely crashed, so this is kind of my comeback story. So what I'm going to do is demo for you PSHelp.Copilot. This is available in the gallery and on GitHub. Now it's demo time. Alrighty, so now I'm going to use a notebook thanks to David. He was like, why don't people use notebooks? And I was like, why aren't I using a notebook? The answer is because a while back they used to not be so great. So when I import the module, whenever you first install and then import, it will let you know that you do need an API key. So what I'm going to do here is I hid my API key behind this. I can splat it, or you can just set an environmental variable. And then I don't need to clean up because I already did it. So what I'm going to do is create a new module assistant. For this one, I picked a pretty small module called Fine Tuna. And what this will do is it will export all of that data. It will, or the help, and it'll put it in the proper format. And then it's going to upload it to OpenAI or OpenAI services. And then it's going to create the vector store and associate it with this assistant. The assistant will then have awesome instructions that came from Microsoft that say you really need to read your files. So this is what it looks like whenever it outputs. Here's this super long, truncated. Oh my God, really? No. So I asked Fine Tuna, how do I get started? And what I really like is, I was like, oh man, they're going to have to sit there and wait. But anytime that this waits, it is actually looking at the documents. So you do want it to wait a bit. And this will tell you, this is how you get started with Fine Tuna. Something else that you can do is that you can set it to another module that you have created an assistant for. So here we're going to set it to DBA Tools, set default assistant. And then now I ask, just in natural language, how do I encrypt all of my databases? Do you know how hard this is to figure out? If you go to docs.dbatools.io, you pretty much have to go into the Slack channel. So we execute this. Now it's going to run, and we're going to wait because it's going to come back with a really beautiful answer. And that's exactly the one that I wanted. Start DBA, DB encryption. Then it tells you what it does, gives you a little bit of information. And by the way, totally unrelated, but I created dbatools.ai to help everyone see how you can integrate AI into your own PowerShell modules. Woo! My name is Chrissy LeMaire. Thank you.